I'm back. I'm so sorry about that, y'all. I had to get off there so that I could talk to the mister. And looks like he's held over from work today, so he's going to be putting in a late night. You know, he works for the water department out here, and this rain has just absolutely wreaked havoc on everything. And not only is everything flooding, but you know, people are trying to get water out of their houses, and they don't know any better, but they're taking water hoses and pumps, and they're pumping that water directly into the sewer lines outside, and it's causing a huge mess. So they've had a lot of ruptured pipes, flooding, their pumps aren't working right, and all kinds of stuff, trying to keep up with this insane amount of rain. So as you can see, the girls behind me eating dinner, and I don't know if you can tell real well, but their lot is absolutely a swampy, muddy hole. It's disgusting. So, and you know, I'm standing in the middle of the goat's pen, and they're eating theirs, and the ducks are waiting on theirs, but Little Bit's helping me do the feed chores, so she's feeding the birds, and I'm taking care of the big stock. So, hey, Andy, how's it going? Oh, no, I'm not going to eat a jalapeno, but I am going to plant a couple of them again this year. So, I just came out of Buster's pen. If you notice, let me get my hands right here. Hey, Miss Vina. All right. This barn right here, the door that's open on this end, right there, that door leads into the big girl's pen. It's open right there for them to go into. It's a good 12 by 12 space for them to go in. And then that middle section right there that's open, that's where we put the grain room, and if we have bales of square bales of hay, we'll put them in there. But we've been buying round bales because it's cheaper. But we would put my fingers, I'm pointing there and looking at it, it's right, but in the video it's right there. So that's the feed and tack room. And then the little building right there that was added on, we built that, and that goes to Buster's pen. So the mini horse, he's got that whole section right there to himself. But anyway, what are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? Behave, be nice. Trying to be brats, that's what they're doing. So anyway, it's all flooded. I mean, we live up on a hill, and we've always joked about how if we needed flood insurance, then we were probably more likely needing an ark. And it's kind of true, but the ground is so saturated right now that it's not absorbing this rain we're having, and it's just absolutely ridiculous. So I got the dope babies are drenched. They are going into their little hut, but it doesn't really make much difference. It rains every 5 minutes right now. So yeah, the chicken coop is absolutely a mess, Christy. But wait till you see this. I'm gonna walk around here, try to do all this one-handed. Come out of the pen. If I rattle you guys around, I'm real sorry about that. I'm not really used to doing this all one-handed, so I should have a selfie stick for this, but I really wasn't planning on doing video and the chores at the same time. So but yeah, Mr. Sullivan is going to be working pretty late tonight. He's already prepped for it, so we're going to be getting dinner ready, and we'll take some over to him. So I think I just saw Trisha come in. Hey there, how's it going? Yeah, Miss Trisha, I miss you too, honey. I'm so sorry that I've not been here lately, but whew, we've been busy. So I don't know if you can see, I talked about the garden. Where's it at? Right there. the one that's in the backyard. That one is what is it? 3 foot by 9 foot. And I gotta keep from shocking myself, because while Andy might think that's funny, I won't. What'd you see? Oh, ankle deep in mud. Yeah, that's the way it is here too. You see, I gotta we have to keep Buster in his pen because he thinks he's Cowboy Casanova, and I never worried before about him going in with the big girls because we thought that he was sterile. Well, he had never shown any signs of interest in any way, shape, or form trying to get with the girls. But he got out one time, and I guess the girls had been terrorizing him when we had let them out to run the property. And so they would come over here along this fence line and just get him all tore up. And so he got out of the fence. I mean, he would climb underneath this fence. And no, I will not do it, Andy. And he got out and literally jumped the girls' fence to get in with them. And, you know, I thought, okay, well, it'll be all right. I mean, he's tiny, you know, he's knee-high to a grasshopper. Surely these girls aren't going to let him do anything silly. And so I didn't really think anything of it for about the first 2 minutes. And then Matt's horse, Journey, started parking out for him. And I said, "You little hussy," I started screaming at him. I started screaming like a crazy person. "Quit that, cut it out." So we had to call a couple of Matt's friends over to help us get him out, because he was just running stupid in that pen and we couldn't catch him. And so anyway, he had to have the electric fence put up because he's Houdini. So all right, I'm gonna turn this around and I'm gonna show you guys what I'm getting ready to walk into. You can see how insane this all is. It is mudslide from the pasture, and it's just running right down into his pen, into his stall. And so if the camera takes this wild flying leap and you hear a shriek, you'll know I slipped and fell and busted my backside. But look at this. I'm going knee deep. Yeah, right, Andy. Of course you haven't. Hey, Little Creek, how's it going? Look, I'm sticking. All right. As you can see, I worked a path the first time around. So we're going to nice and easy do this so I don't slip and slide. Because, you know, this ain't all mud in here. All right. Hey, Buster boy. Look at that. Doesn't he just look like he's up to no good? Got his ears back looking at me like he's cutting eyes at me. All right. So I'm going to go in here. And, you know, of course it's dang near dry in here. But you're not playing in the knee-deep mud. I get you. Well, I wouldn't like to either. Typically, I would have Mr. Sullivan climbing around in this mess. But since he's working, I expect I best be nice to him and do the chores. So I can do mine and his. But all right, let me put these away. So if anybody ever wondered, this is how we store our livestock feed. We got these big black trash bins at Lowe's, and the lids latch down on them just fine, and they'll hold 2 50-pound bags of feed. So that's what we put. Yeah, yeah, y'all make sure I get paid for it though. As long as it's going viral, I might as well. It might almost be worth that. Almost. All right, let me close up this door. It's really hard to do one-handed. We got this technology stuff going on here, you know. It's real tough technology. But you know, that little stupid horse is Houdini. And before, we didn't have this clip on there. We just close that and we close that. And you know, he would get this door open and go in and help himself to the feed bin. And he knew exactly how to do it and where it was at too, didn't you? Didn't you, Buster Boy? So, we got to keep him trapped out of the room with locks and keys practically. All right, here we go. Maneuvering the mud. All right, look at this. Oh, it's gross. All right. Farm life, y'all, farm life. That's all I'm saying. All right, trudging. That wasn't mud. You know that wasn't mud. All right, so we got the dog kennel. I don't know if we've ever done a tour with you guys on this, but we got the dog kennel right here, and that's where the ducks go. That's their hut that Matthew made them, and it's actually just inside of the goat's pen, and they all do real good together. So Hannah's feeding, and that's the best you're gonna get of her because she doesn't like to be in the video. So we're gonna turn it this way. Yeah, it definitely has something to do with the animals too, Little Creek. It's been all this rain and everything, and they're just sloshing and carrying on. And all right, let's see here. Let me see if I can grab this without electrocuting myself. Come here, Andy. I got something for you. Grab that. All right. Isn't that ridiculous? How you got to keep a miniature horse out or keep him in by electrical wire because he's a Houdini wanting to get to some girls. Good gravy. All right. That's what my chicken pen is. Oh, yeah. I'm all about the dog kennels, man. They're cheap. You can find them on Craigslist all day long. They're easy. All you got to do is sit them down. All right, guys. I can't do this one-handed, so I'm just going to set you on the fence post. Just a second. You're going right there. And you're going face down, too. Sorry about that. You can see what I'm doing. There we go. All right. Sorry about that. Okay, so we'll just come on around. You can hear me sloshing in the grass. It's so bad. It is bad, but anyway. All right, so this little one, this little garden here, we did some snap peas for Hannah, and we did some carrots, and we had a couple of cucumbers growing up there, and they did real good. And looks like a tree branch come down in the night, so tore up my fence, my beautiful fence. Look at that. Well, I'm not gonna try to pull that one-handed because I knocked myself out. Oh, so Frankie, my one and only Polish chicken, he has been the coolest chicken, probably one of the coolest chickens I've ever had. I absolutely love him. Let's see, Andy says he's got a brown pit bull, a brown puppy, a brown something. Oh, a brown blue heeler at the moment? Yeah. Yes. So, all right, guys, come along. Let's see here. Let me turn you back around. Look at that rooster. Splash Orpington. Goodness, you're getting a cold, aren't you? Lavender Orpingtons. And the poor bed that's starting to sink in because it's so wet and nasty. So this is the one that we were doing the vertical gardening in and everything. And I don't know what's going on with it sinking right there. That's something to think about. But we'll probably do a little bit of the vertical gardening in here as well. I think we'll stick to some of the cucumbers and stuff like that. I've got a couple varieties of gourds that I want to try to do. Let me turn around here. But you know, when I first planted loofah, Jason Rear said, oh yeah, Christy, she does love the peas. We don't get any of them. Jason Rear told me that if I was going to be planting loofah, I needed to plant it exactly where I wanted it to be forever, because it would take over and it would come back every single year, because inevitably I would drop seeds and it would just be there forever. And I said, well, I'll pick it early enough that it won't drop seeds. It'll be okay. And I don't want to say he was right or anything, but I've got a loofah garden. You're supposed to plant loofah and run before it catches you. Yeah, yes. So I now have a loofah garden, and it's okay. It's at least it's in a good spot. But we had oh, looks like we got some. What are y'all doing? Sorry, I got derailed there for just a second. The chickens are following me. They want food. They don't realize all they gotta do is go inside their pen and get it. So I have a couple of stray loofah that got left behind, and so I figure I probably have an entire loofah field come the spring. So we shall see. But I'm going to turn this around one more time. Well, maybe not one more, but I'll turn this around so you guys can see what I'm talking about here. So right there is where my loofah was, and if you can believe it, what's left there is just really needs cleaned up. But all right, Andy, thanks so much for coming. See ya. That stuff's just left over and needs to be cleaned up, but that whole section is going to be loofah. And this garden right here is one that we have done various things in. And last year we didn't plant anything in this garden. We let nature run its course, and we ended up with tomatoes out the wazoo. We ended up with loofah. We ended up with a couple of melon. We had something else. Anyway, we had quite a bit of stuff in here, and all of it was volunteer. Of course, most of it from being lazy gardeners the year prior. You know, you let something get too ripe, you don't come out and get it, and it goes to seed in the ground and then hides away for the winter, and well, you know how it goes. So anyway, we just left it to do whatever it was going to do. And as you can see, we haven't cleaned it up yet. There's still a lot of stuff here that needs to be cleaned up. Did I just see Suburban come in? Hey Suburban, how's it going? Oh yeah, I've been talking to you. I'm so sorry, I'm distracted. Anyway, so we got quite a bit of cleaning up to do, but I'm walking here to the end of it so you can see going the other way. So there you go. We got some trellis spots, and the boxes are still good. The strawberries right there and right there, and they need to be transplanted. You can see how last year they just kind of grew out here and grew everywhere. So there's a bunch of them grown up in that way, and all up in this whole area they've grown in. And the chickens have come through and picked at a bunch of stuff, and they like coming in here and cleaning things up and whatnot. But there's a lot to clean up before we do any actual gardening in here this year. And then our blueberry bushes. We haven't decided yet what all is going to go in this garden because Matthew doesn't want to do as much stuff as we had before because it's a lot to do. And with my business stuff, I've been more busy with that. And Christy says her volunteers did well. That's good. So anyway, I've been really busy and distracted, and he's been really distracted. So yeah, the garden isn't really full of mud, so that's good. Suburban's trading the tractor in on a swamp buggy. That's cool. So these are my Easter egger babies that we had in the little chicken tractor there for the longest time. And I really need to probably go ahead and either sell or cull the roosters, but I haven't gotten myself around to it. There's 3 of them total. There's these 2 boys with the white, and then there's a red one around here somewhere. Oh, he's in the garden. And of course, he's the low man on the totem pole, so the 2 white ones are beating him up and making noise. So, as you can see, poor guy, his tail's half ate off. So, there you go, buddy. Goodness. Never a dull moment. Anyway, I'm just kind of rambling now at this point. I'm walking y'all around the property trying to do an update on things because we have been gone for so long, and there really isn't a whole lot else to talk about because, let me turn around here, everything else is pretty much just same old same that everybody else is doing and trying to keep up with the world and things and everything. 3 acres, Suburban. Well, almost 3.5. So, but it's a long skinny rectangle like that. So the house sits at the back end of it, and there's, I don't know, maybe 75, 100 foot behind the house, and then all of the rest of it is in front. So yeah, we actually, for Pete's sake, it is a good size actually. It's fairly easy to maintain, or relatively easy to maintain. It's not really big enough for the horses. We'd really like to get that pasture right there, but like I said in the video earlier, the fellow that owns it is wanting an insane amount of money, so we're not likely to be doing that. So I don't know if you guys see those chicken coops right there. I have been getting on to Matthew since last year about doing a video on how he builds those, because we've had quite a few folks ask us about our chicken coops, and they're actually mostly just pallet wood. I mean, they're pretty simple, they're really inexpensive, and oh, is that right, Suburban? Over in Mascot, right? So anyway, if I can get him nailed down in the spring, we'll go ahead and build another one and do a video on it, and that way you guys can see, because we had tried a couple other methods, and we had made a little chicken tractor, and we've done just a few different things for our chickens, and ultimately we like letting them free range. So we rotate out which group of chickens go out at whichever time. And then the coops that we made work out really well. So let me sit down here. Sit down and chat with y'all. The coops work out really well. They're really well structured. We've not had any issues with them. And they're pretty easy to do, so they'd be really good for a beginner or somebody who doesn't have a whole lot of time or a whole lot of resources, and definitely good for folks who are doing a breeding program, because those coops aren't really all that big. Uh, we have up to 10 at a time in one of them, and that's a pretty decent size as long as you're letting them out to free range during the day. Um, I wouldn't really put more than that in there. I mean, maybe you could put a bunch of babies in there, you know, some pullets, small chickens. You could put more than, but I don't like to crowd them, and sometimes I think that the numbers they recommend are really pushing it. So when you see those little tiny coops from Tractor Supply, and they're really pretty and everything, but they are so not practical. They're very tiny. The actual space, the actual living space inside of them are super tiny. In fact, we have one over next to the big coop that's just rotting away, basically. Probably need to get it sold or something. So, I mean, they're just not really, I don't know. You pay a couple $100s for something that's a third or a fourth of the size as these ones that cost, you know, a third as much. So, but anyway, yes, and they fall apart in no time. So, Christy says that she's in the city, so she gave a rooster to the veterans home. They needed one. Do they have chickens? That's cool. We're trying to keep the number of chickens down, but that's very hard for me because I really like the chickens. And the Easter eggers have definitely become easily my favorite. They are beautiful, they are funny, they are spunky. Their characters are just fantastic. That being said, that being said, the Lavender Orpingtons and the Splash Rooster are big and fluffy. So if you like the fluffies, then, you know, I would definitely recommend the Orpingtons. But if you're all about attitude and personality, then the Easter eggers are definitely the way to go. And both of them are really good layers. At this point, we have mostly blue-green, greenish eggs, and then we have just a couple of the brown eggs. So we've done kind of a 180 from what we had started out with. In the beginning, we had a few dozen of the brown eggs and an occasional chocolate egg from our Moran and an occasional blue egg from our Americanas. But now we've got mostly the colored eggs and then just a couple of the brown ones, so that's pretty cool. When I got rid of my big flock, I lost a couple of my customers because they wanted all farm brown eggs. They didn't want any of the colored eggs because they just don't taste the same. And, oh, you know, the only thing that you can say to it is bless your heart, because all of the eggs, all of our chicken eggs anyway, are going to taste the same because they all get fed the same thing. They're all feeding on the same grass and grain, and you know, the color of the eggs doesn't make the difference in the flavor of the eggs. So anyway, Suburban says I shouldn't live in the country again. I'd end up with a petting zoo and no food. Yes, I understand. I understand. It's something that that we've talked quite a bit about. So, you know, it's hard to do that because really and truly, we should sell the horses, and really and truly, my fiber goats actually cost me as much as they're worth easily. So I kind of break even with the goats. And then with the horses, that's all in the red, They're more for entertainment purposes rather than work. I would like to fix that. We know that Buster pulls, and ultimately, I would really like to get a hold of an old plow and see if he will take care of the garden for us. I think he probably would, but I've just not taken the time to get him hooked up and do all that stuff. So, but I know that he pulls. We've had him pull wagon before, but yeah, Vina. Let me tell you something, darling. I still have my fiber bunnies. I haven't even talked about them yet. And we had an incident where we weren't paying attention, and we didn't get the little male bunny out in time, and he bred with his sister, which was eh. And we didn't even know, literally we didn't know until she started pulling fiber, because they're so thick and fluffy you can't tell that they're pregnant. And she started pulling fiber, and I'm just like face palm, oh my god, no, are you serious? But she had the babies all stillborn. I don't know if it was because they're brother and sister or what, but we immediately pulled him out, and he's in his own pen, and she and Mama are in their own pen. So that was kind of a sad day on the farm. That kind of stuff happens, and it sucks. It was really irresponsible on our part. I mean, it was totally our fault. We should have been more careful about getting them separated sooner, but time got away from me, and it just happened. So it sucked. We took care of it, and we moved on. But Vina, this. Fiber animals are a lot of work. So, and anyway, so it's just adding to the list of chores that we have. And between doing the business and all of that stuff, it's just a lot of, it's just a lot of work. So, line breed with rabbits once in 6 or so generations. Could have been age or just because it was her first. Yeah, it really could have been. I originally I thought that it probably was because it was her first litter. They're 9 months old, 8 or 9 months old, so she's probably plenty old enough, but it was her first litter. So in fact, we had absolutely no intention of breeding them at all. They were literally just there for fiber animals. We bred the one rabbit that we had to get the babies. We bred her with a gal's buck northeast of here. In fact, we drove a couple of hours away to get her bred, because there really aren't any registered or full-blooded Angoras, French Angoras here or locally. So the closest was a couple hours away, and so we bred her at that point, and we got the 2 babies out of her. Actually, we had the 3 babies. And that one, I've done a video on that one. The one had its feet tangled up in the fiber when it was just a day old, and we ended up culling it because it had completely paralyzed it. So it was a rough situation, But whenever you deal with babies in general, I mean, there's always the risk of something happening, and it really sucks when it does, but you have to keep moving along and do whatever it is that you're doing, and not dwell on it too much. So, but we don't have time for babies. We are not in any position to be breeding or anything like that. So I don't want to be getting into it. So, it's a lot of work, and it's a lot of work to keep up with their fibers. So, yes, you're absolutely right, Vina. They really are. And, you don't realize until you grab a hold of one of them, because literally it's all fiber. I mean, their hair is this long and poofy. So you have a rabbit that's this big, but really it's only this big. So, but yeah, but he's not happy about being separated from mom and sister, you know. He'd love to stay with them. And, you know, I've looked into the colony raising and all of that stuff, but we couldn't do that out here. We've got coyotes that come through every couple of days, and at least every other week, the pack is, I don't know if they separate out into smaller packs and then come together or what, but there is, at probably about every other week, there's a big pack that's considerable, and they're fairly close. Probably the other side of that pasture where that other tree line is, they sound like they're really close. And we can hear them cross the road here. On the other side of the road is a cow pasture, and we hear them baying over there and coming across the road, and it sounds like they're right up in our property. So we couldn't have anything like that. I'd be too afraid that there'd be a slaughter or something, and that would just really suck. So that would be a whole lot worse than the occasional one or two things going on, you know. You see what's going on here, right? They know they're not supposed to be in that bed, but they are because they like digging in the mulch. So anyway, I've been on here this time for 36 minutes, and I only came on to check in with everybody and let y'all know that we're not dead, and that things have just been so busy. But yeah, I think you're right, Vina. And you know, I think I'm not gonna say, that's gonna get me on a soapbox, Vina. We're just gonna say PETA, and that's it. Okay, we'll just leave it at that. People don't know or understand the natural way of life outside of the grocery store. Let's just leave it at that, right? So, I mean, they're dogs. After all, they're dogs. So, you can't do anything. You shouldn't kill them. You know, they're just doing what dogs do. Until it's Fifi that they've taken out into the middle of nowhere and ripped to shreds. And I'm sorry, that's way, way less PG than it should be. But, you know, okay. Done. Done. So, yes, Suburban, you're absolutely right. They are downright brave. You know, I remember, and it's not been so long ago, that they were really skittish. You never saw them close, and if they were close, there was something seriously to be concerned about. And that's still true. It's still true to be concerned about them being that close, but there's nothing wrong with them anymore. They're just brave. They just know that you're not going to do anything. So, what are y'all doing? Can y'all see them? Frankie, what are you doing? That one hen? Where is she? Right there. She's bald. She's bald as a cue ball because she's the town hussy. You know, on the farm. On a farm. Grandma's so happy. How's it going? So, you know, I haven't tried to pick up that Splash Rooster, but he is one big mamma jamma. He's not mean. He's not even aggressive. I mean, you can walk right beside him and he'll just follow you. You know, he wants food, which is probably why he's so huge, because he's a porker. So, oh, you were given a lion's head rabbit. She's mean. Well, you know, they all have their own personalities. So, yes, Brenda, every flock has one. Every flock has a floozy. So, this one actually has two. The other one is just jumping off right there, just jumping off the porch. And I'm going to have to either make or buy some saddles, because they are, I mean, they're naked. They're totally naked. So, or get rid of the roosters, which I'm not going to do that either. So I probably better get them some, some clothes made. So anyway, so coming up very soon is the Deep South Gathering. And I know that some of you, not naming any names, Brenda Duncan, are going without me because I can't go. And I'm super, super sad about it. And I'm really jealous that you guys are going because I know it's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm going to adjust my phone here and try not to shut you off or anything like that here. There we go. So anyway, I hope that you guys will all do live streams and take a lot of pictures and everything else because I really, really, really wish I could go. But I think I might get divorced if I go because we've got a lot to do. And if I run away, you know, he's going to kill me. So anyway, you guys just take a lot of pictures, do a lot of video, get everybody together and do video and say hello to me. So I'm just not happy that I'm missing the quilting and sewing expo next weekend. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff coming up, and you know, in the past we've been able to leave and go do things, but this last year has just been a lot of work. I mean, we've really had a lot of stuff to do, and we have to be grown-ups, and we can't just run off and go play anytime we want to. So, you know, it is what it is. But, and it's our decision, you know, I mean, we're the ones that chose all of the animals, and we're the ones that chose all the things that we're doing. So, but, and the person, we actually finally have someone that we trust that can take care of the farm for us, which for those of you who have farm animals, you know, it's a huge thing to find someone that you can actually trust to stay at your place and farm sit for you, and take care of all of the animals, and they'll all still be alive when you get home. And we found someone finally that can do that sort of thing for a few days. I mean, obviously we couldn't take off for a month, but you know, they can stay at the place for a few days. But he had to go off and get his wife pregnant, and she's due soon. So, you know, something about staying at home with her, I don't know, you know. So anyway, but I'm really happy though that we do have somebody finally that we do trust that can take care of things, and he's not at all afraid to get in the mud pit and take care of things that need to be taken care of. And he's got the sense God gave a goose, which is fabulous. And we can trust him to be here and take care of things, and you know, it's great. So anyway, I am literally just sitting here rambling on with you guys, and we've been on here for almost 45 minutes. I've really missed y'all though. I really have missed the live streams and doing the videos and stuff. I actually have a slight confession to make. I've been doing videos over on my Stampin' Chick page on my Stampin' Up channel. So, and that's YouTube/Dana Sullivan. So it's really easy to find. But I do a weekly video on there, but it's very small. It's not like doing the videos here. Or if I do the live streams here, then that's fine. I don't have to edit anything. But when we do a regular video here, we usually spend some time editing, you know, cleaning it up, because there's a lot of, you know, things that are just dull and need to be cut out. Or if we're building something, sometimes I have to clean up language, because, you know, you get disgruntled when you're building things, and nobody wants to hear that nonsense. So there's a lot of cleanup and editing and stuff like that. And so, you know, it just kind of takes the fun out of it sometimes, and so we don't really have a whole lot of time as it is. Which is why I like the live stream, because I can get on here, I can chat with you guys, we can do an update, I can walk around with you and show you what's going on, and then when I say goodbye, then it goes straight to YouTube and I'm done with it. I don't have to do anything else, so that's really cool. But on my other channel, I do just one little project or card tutorial, and or I talk about products or something like that. It's just a one small little video, and I record directly to YouTube, not a live stream, but just recorded video directly to YouTube, and I don't edit anything. Whatever it is, and whatever it's not, is not. And I don't have to worry about the language issue or anything like that, and it's all totally PG, and so I don't have to worry about editing anything, so it's easier for me to do that every week. But I do want to try to get back into doing more videos over here too, because there are a lot of things that we still do need to make videos for. I just don't want to do the same videos that everyone else is doing. When we started this channel, it was all about us recording our journey in homesteading. We just bought this house and property, and we just wanted to document the things that we were doing just for ourselves. We didn't do this with an intention of having any kind of following or anything like that. And then when it started happening, it was just like, wow, these people are interested in what we're doing. I can't even imagine. We're so boring. So, but then it's come to that, and we really enjoy you guys, People still comment on some of our older videos, and, occasionally I'm able to go back in there and I'll be able to reply to some of them, and it's just great. We love chatting with you guys. So, and like I said, we've got some videos that I know that we want to get done. For one thing, that bread video, oh my gosh, every day someone new sees that bread making video, and there have been a lot of comments on it, and I can't keep up with all of them, but occasionally I can get on, I'll reply to some, but some of the folks have been asking about, don't you eat my flowers. She's looking. A lot of people have been asking about yeast rolls, and I have been working on a recipe, and I really, really like it. So I'll be doing that video hopefully very soon. So, hey Jewish Redneck Preppers, how's it going? So, oh, Miss Brenda, you've started doing videos? I'm going to have to check them out. So anyway, there should be a video coming up soon for the homemade yeast rolls, and those are really good, folks. Those are like the, I don't know if you've been to Roadhouse lately, Texas Roadhouse, but they've changed the rolls. They're not the same as they used to be. But those really soft, yeasty rolls, they're really good. This recipe is all about that. So I'm looking forward to sharing it with you guys, and so that'll be a lot of fun. And then, like I said, I'll try to get Matthew to do the video for the chicken coop. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and get off here because I'll keep chatting and be on for an hour. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I really appreciate y'all chatting with me today, and I'm so sorry that it's taken so long. I'll try to be better about it, okay?